I wasn't gonna make a video on this, but just like, I learned a little bit more about this situation and what was happening, and it is honestly infuriating to me. So here I am making a video about it. I just want to get this out of the way before we even get started. I am not autistic. I am neurodivergent. I do have ADHD, which is very similar to autism, but I am not autistic myself. So I will try and like look at tweets from different autistic people on this in this video. And if you're autistic, please leave a comment on your thoughts about the situation. But I do care very passionately about just upholding the entire neurodivergent community and speaking up for fellow neurodivergent people. So that is why I'm making this video. So I'm not autistic, but I talk to a lot of autistic people online and learn about it and all of that. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's get into this mess of a, oh my god, okay. This is Mark Rober. Mark Rober has 18 million subscribers, and so you've probably seen him on YouTube. You've probably watched at least one of his videos. I mean, his videos, like, they get, like, tens of millions of views each. So, brief history on Mark Rober. He was an engineer at NASA, but then he quit to do YouTube, I think. I think that's why he quit. But basically, because he's an engineer and has that kind of degree, he builds things for YouTube videos. That's what he does. He does science stuff and building things. As you can see, he does the like glitter porch bomb. So like he places fake packages on porches so when people steal them, they get glitter bombed. Like he made this cool squirrel obstacle course thing. Like, so basically, he was pretty unproblematic because he was just like building things. He was building cool things, and like that's an unproblematic thing to do, is to build an obstacle course for squirrels. Who wouldn't want to watch that? Like, the other day he uploaded this video, The Truth About My Autistic Son. Can you see my cursor on the thing? I don't know, but he uploaded this video, The Truth About My Son, and it's his autistic son. So when I saw this, at first, I was very worried because of that little fundraiser thing. And immediately my heart sank and I was like, oh no, he's raising money for Autism Speaks. And we'll get there. So this video, the other reason that I was very scared to watch this video was because a lot of times with autistic parents, not like parents who have autism, but like neurotypical parents with autistic children, they tend to have these like weird victim complex things where it's like, oh, my life is so difficult, my life is so hard, it's so awful having a child with autism, like the child having autism has ruined me, my life is over, me, the one without the neurological disorder, I'm the one suffering. So it's like, girl, get over yourself. So at first I thought this was gonna be that, and that this video was just gonna be him like being like, my life is so hard because my son's autistic, but it wasn't. It wasn't that. Oh, the square is because I'm screen recording my phone as a webcam, sorry. But it wasn't that, so good job, we got the bare minimum. So when the video started, like, cause like most of the video's fine. Most of the video's just him talking about his son likes a color, whatever, like normal stuff. Over the Grammarly ad. Perfect. Grammarly is getting none of this. You can still kind of see it. Okay, so this video, for the most part, it's fine. It's a cute kid, whatever. So throughout the course of this video, he's just talking about autism, what it is, his son has it, it's just like things are different. And so at first I was like, oh my god, this is great. It's a parent not complaining about having a child with autism just endlessly. Two, he seemed to have a good grasp on what it was. So I was like, oh, this is great, this is fine. And then this clip played.
My son will never be the star of his Little League team. He won't be the first person to step foot on Mars, nor will he invent the cure to cancer. But by the best definition of success I can think of, him and his special needs buddies and everyone else out there like them are giants living amongst us mere mortals.
When I tell you, my entire body just like cringed. I was just like, no. So basically, I mean, you watched it, you saw the clip that I just played. Because of autism, therefore you can't accomplish anything? Like, what? It blows my mind that, like, you can just, like, take that leap in logic. Like, does this man not know that Albert Einstein, Emily Dickinson, Isaac Newton, like, Mozart, they were all autistic? Like some of the greatest minds in history have all been autistic, but, like, according to Mark Rober, if you had autism, like, that holds you back from so much, apparently. Like, it's just infuriating to just be like, oh, my son has autism, so he'll never do anything that important. Like, shut the fuck up. It's so horrible. And, like, the way that he talks about all disabled people in this video, too. I'm not going to show all the clips. You can go watch this video for yourself. But, like, he talks about them like they're animals, like they're pets. Because he's like, oh, well, special needs. He says special needs, by the way. Like, just say disabled. You can say disabled. Special needs isn't, like, offensive, but, like, oh my god, just say disabled. He's like, oh, special needs people, they don't contribute to society, but, like, they're so fun to be around. And that's basically what he's saying. Like, I think he says that exact phrase. Like, and then he just shows clips of, like, disabled adults just, like, smiling and being happy. And it's just, like, you do, like, what? Like, that's what you say about a dog. That's what you say about a dog. Like, a dog doesn't contribute to the family, but they're fun to have. Like, that's exactly what he's, like, saying. Like, it comes off so much as, like, this neurotypical able-bodied man being like, yes, I am above all of you, but, like, you're so fun to be around. It's just like, oh my god. Like, he literally, deadass, is, like, coming on YouTube being like, well, autistic people don't contribute anything to society, but, like, they're just so funny, so, like, we should care about them. Not because, like, because they're human beings, but because they're fun. Which is so stupid and ridiculous, and I hate it. So at first I was gonna make this video just about, like, what he said in the video, which was, like, low-key very ableist. But I saw this, the charity that he's raising money for and has raised over $700,000 for. He's doing, like, this giant charity stream too with, like, Seth Meyers and, like, a bunch of other YouTubers and celebrities. Like, it's a giant charity stream. They've already raised $700,000 for this community, Next for Autism. Next for Autism. So when I first saw this charity, I was just like, oh my god, it's not Autism Speaks. Because if you don't know who Autism Speaks are, they're basically just a hate group, like, disguised as a charity. I think the fact that every single autistic person on the face of the planet hates Autism Speaks should tell you about what kind of, like, charity Autism Speaks is. And there's a whole video by Illuminati about it, which will be up in the iCard for you to watch. But Autism Speaks, it's a horrible, horrible charity. So at first I was like, oh, okay. And what he explained in the video was that this charity, Next for Autism, was a charity about, like, helping autistic adults adjust to life, which I was like, great. Great. Love to see that, because there's, like, almost no support for autistic adults as far as I'm aware. But no. Nope, it is just not true. It is not true. So, this is a very helpful thread on Twitter by AutisticScienePerson here. I'll actually just go retweet it right now, so if you're following me on Twitter, you can see it. So we need to talk about how charities and non-autistic people pick are very harmful to autistic people. This is what Next for Autism did with the money they raised. They created a center with the mission of the research of preventing autism spectrum disorders. This doesn't sound like support for autistic adults. This sounds like eugenics. This center is named the Center for Autism and the Developing Brain. This is on the About page of their Chief Executive Officer, Gillian Leak. $30 million was raised in the name of autistic people to create a research center that wants to prevent autistic people. Can we see the problem? I'm hoping you can see the problem. Oh, do I need to move the, like, thing over a little bit? I hope we can see the problem with this. I don't think I need to explain the problem with this. If you are a charity meant to be helping autistic people, but instead you're just trying to prevent any autistic person from existing ever in the future, I don't feel like I should explain why that's, like, horrible. Like, that is, you know what that is? That's called eugenics. And you know what eugenics is? It's that fun thing that the Nazis believed in. And this is the reason that people do not like Autism Speaks, is because they're so invested on researching a cure for autism. But because you can't cure autism, their cure is just preventing autistic people from ever being born, ever. Imagine if Albert Einstein was never born. Like, could you imagine the effect that that would have on, like, all modern forms of science? Like, and they just want to, like, make sure every autistic person just, like, isn't born in the future, ever, which is disgusting. Alright, they're having an event on April 30th off for Autism Acceptance Month with a ton of celebrities like John Oliver. There's so many people. Jacksepticeye was there. I love Jacksepticeye. Yeah, and it's called Color the Spectrum because apparently Mark Rober's son liked to color, so it's a nice name. But it's a horrible cause. They've raised $700,000 for a charity who wants to make sure that autistic people never exist in the future. That is their mission. That is their goal. The people are raising money to get rid of autistic people for autistic people. Mark Rober is raising money for a charity that wishes his son wasn't even born. That is disgusting to me. Did he not do any research on this charity? And it gets worse. It gets worse. So this is a article all about good and bad autistic charities, and so I will leave it linked below because it is really helpful if you're looking for an autistic charity who's run by autistic people and actually does good things to help the autistic people currently alive on this planet, not trying to prevent future ones from existing. And so here's what they have to say on Next for Autism. Has behavioral therapists, graduate students studying applied behavioral analysis, ABA, and they have no autistic advocates on their team or board of directors. So not a single autistic person actually is making any decisions at this charity. It is completely run by neurotypical people. And I want to focus on this, the ABA, and works with ABA. So if you don't know what ABA is, let me scroll down. ABA is Applied Behavioral Analysis, and let me explain what it is because it is absolutely appalling and it should not even be legal. So ABA is basically a type of therapy where you force autistic people to act neurotypical because that's helpful somehow. I'm not saying it's autistic conversion therapy, but I'm not saying it's autistic conversion therapy because it's pretty dang close. So, say no to ABA. It is very abusive and unhelpful. Look at this, and so these are all autistic people talking about how they, have horrible abusive experiences with ABA, and basically, kind of what it is they're forcing autistic people to suppress, stimming and, normal things for neurodivergent people. I stim and I have ADHD. This is kind of the equivalent. ABA is kind of the equivalent. Autism is a neurological disorder, not like a mental illness. It is a neurological disorder. Your brain is physically different. So ABA, epilepsy is also a neurological disorder. So imagine if you sat someone with epilepsy down, put a bunch of flashing lights in front of their face, and forced them to not have a seizure. That's what it is. You're literally going against the hard wiring of someone's actual brain to try and make them fit into your society. That's kind of what it is, at least from what I have seen. So again, I can make a whole nother video just about ABA if this does well. But so this is absolutely disgusting and appalling, and $700,000 have been raised for a charity that supports this. That is almost $1 million that is being put into the abuse of autistic children. And then here's a graph that I thought was interesting. If there was a cure for autism, would you take it? I'll show you. You can see it down there. And as you can see, majority of people did not say no. They were like, no, I wouldn't take it. They would just be like, I wouldn't take a cure for autism, which is, valid because autism, when you're in an environment that's, fine for you, it shouldn't be a hindrance. I saw this great TikTok. I don't know who it was by. I wish I could credit them. But, they said, deafness itself is not a disability. Our society makes it a disability. If we did not have, spoken language, if everyone just spoke sign language and, all signals were all just, visual instead of auditory, then deafness wouldn't be a disability at all. They're disabled by society. And the similar can be same with this. Obviously, this is not true in every circumstance, but a majority of, struggles that come from being neurodivergent are not necessarily because of your neurological disorder, but because you're just not neurotypical and our society is designed for neurotypical people. So autism itself shouldn't be, or any type of neurodivergency, shouldn't be a hindrance. It's the fact that you're not neurotypical that's the hindrance. You get what I'm saying? I'm not wording this the best, but I think so. Yeah, why eugenics is bad? They literally believe in eugenics because you cannot cure autism. You cannot cure autism. So this is also what Autism Speaks is, and apparently this charity is also aligned with Autism Speaks. So he might as well be raising money for Autism Speaks. But what they believe in, at least Autism Speaks, they want to identify the autism gene in the brain so that they can scan all fetuses and make sure autistic children are never born. What? That is Nazi-level eugenics shit. Should I have to explain why that is so incredibly fucked up? I shouldn't. And yet Mark Rober has raised $700,000 for a charity that believes in literal eugenics. of his child. He is the parent of an autistic child, and he is raising money for a charity who likes to abuse autistic children and also wants them to never exist in the first place. Well, from what I've seen, the main thing I've been seeing on Twitter about this is like some Minecraft YouTuber named Carl was in this, or allegedly. And so his fans told him, like, hey, this charity's, like, super ableist, do not support this. And so he dropped out of the stream. So, like, maybe, possibly, that could mean that, like, if he, like, dropped out being like, hey, people don't like this charity, that can mean they changed the charity. Because, like, all they would have to do is just change the charity. If you change the charity to one of, like, the good charities on this article here, all they would have to do is just change their charity. If they were just raising money for any of the, like, actual autistic charities run by autistic people, $700,000, that would be great. But they chose a disgusting charity, so it's awful. So now I'm gonna just kind of look on Twitter. Alright, so we have a tweet from Jimmy Kimmel. Oh, was it Jimmy Kimmel? I thought it was Seth Meyers. I cannot tell white men apart. I really can't. I should learn to do that. Okay, Jimmy Kimmel is doing the stream with Mark Rober, not Seth Meyers. Sorry, Seth Meyers. Yeah, just want to say the charity is Next for Autism, and it's affiliated with Autism Speaks, relies on ABA, and has no autistic members on its team. Hank Green just made a weird joke. And then this I retweeted, Next for Autism supports Autism Speaks and ABA therapy and has no autistic members. And then they talked about Carl because it's a Minecraft account. I'm sorry, I watch Minecraft YouTubers. I should not be. I'm just not in the fandom. Yes, and then this is a comment from the video, just kind of like pointing out everything that I've gone through. Let's actually look at Mark Rober's account. Has he said anything? Oh my god, no. Here's some evidence that there's a lot of good people on the internet too. 600K in the first 24 hours. No, this is bad. We are raising money for eugenics. We should not be celebrating this, Mark. Okay, but that means he has been on Twitter, so hopefully, like, Carl or whatever dropping out of the stream, which I think did happen, according to Minecraft Twitter. If Carl did drop out of the stream, obviously you'd have to tell Mark, you'd be like, hey, my fans don't like the charity you picked. So maybe it'll get to him, but, like, I mean, he clearly has no malice intentions. He has an autistic child. And if he knew the charity he was raising money for believed in literal eugenics, I'm sure he would drop out, but, like, yeah. So I had to talk about this, because not a lot of people are talking about this, because not a lot of people really care. A lot of big celebrities can just be as ableist as they want, and, like, no one gives a shit. So I'm talking about it. And you know what? If I've been harsh on Mark Rober, he has 18 million subscribers, and I don't even have 200 subscribers. So you know what? He can take it. He can take it. And so, linked below will be the article about all the different autistic charities and which ones you should support and which ones you should support, which ones you should support and which ones you should not. And obviously go watch Mark Rober's video for yourself to put into context some of the things I've said, but, like, oh, for the love of God, do not donate to Next for Autism, because this is disgusting. This is utterly disgusting. Happy Autism Awareness Month.